everyone. I'm here by the power of Enchanted, and we're going to share some magical time and hopefully some fun and mostly spiritual time because Mother Nature has made sure that we're going to learn more about our spirit. I, if you would like to have a one card reading, which is kind of fun and sometimes important, something might come up that you really need, and you may have a question. So just write your first and your last name, and then I will pull a card for you and we'll discuss that. In the meantime, we're all isolated, so to speak, but in fact, it's not a bad thing. It's forced spiritualism. We're going to find out who we are, and we have to go inward to our nature. Our nature is comforting sometimes. We are wise. It teaches us how to protect ourselves, how to achieve all the goals we have, and maybe planning a few new ones. In the past 3 years, astrologically, the planets have been stripping away a lot of things and changing things for everyone at different times of the year. And it's been a little tough. But this is the ultimate. Mother Nature is really tired of having us ruin her existence. We need the clean water, clean air, and we can do something about it. First of all, the witches are doing something magically about it as well as materially. We're trying to plant trees, and actually there's 3 things that need to be planted this spring. And morning glories, sunflowers. Sunflowers, when they grow, you can eat the seeds. They are very nutritious, have vitamins. You can eat the flower, and at the root of a sunflower is a potato. People don't know about that. And you can eat that. So in a case of famine in some countries, it helps save the people from starving. In fact, many, many years ago, Russia had a famine. And so they gave a law that everyone had to plant fields of sunflowers, and it got them out of the famine. It helped people so much. Morning glories, I'm not sure. They're not edible. They're just beautiful, but they clean the air. They clean the air better sometimes than most plants. How odd is that? And they're so little, and they cover so much space, which is wonderful. So we have to start planting. We have to think about the air we're breathing while we're indoors. Now, your home is going to be your mansion. It has to be a magical place and a spiritual place, and you need to call on your ancestry. Think back of the cultures that have raised you and put you where you are. What kinds of magic did they bring forth? Witchcraft, of course. Witchcraft is, it's not an umbrella term for magics of other cultures. Witchcraft is Indo-European only and Celtic, so magic in other countries are called by different names. It's not called witchcraft in Africa. And the Hebraic magic is ceremonial. There are other names for other types of magic, and witchcraft is a specific kind of magic. We never do harm. Why? Because we don't have to. We have protection shields and neutralizing methods. So we don't have to harm someone to keep them from harming us. And I think we're the only religion and path that actually does that. We don't have witch wars, and we're never going to have one. And right now, everyone that's able to listen and share with me, you can learn how to do the protection shield. I'm going to draw in some light tonight before we get started with cards. The chi force, you know, the light travels 186,000 miles per second, and with light comes information. Universal mind sends information to us, especially when you're meditating. All these wonderful thoughts and ideas come. That's how Einstein and Tesla got all that magic and learned all those wonderful things that were put to use for us on earth. You can do the same thing, and now by nature you have the time to do this. You have the time to take a nice deep breath. And by the way, a cup of tea. My mother said in a very English way, a cup of tea will cure anything. I really agree with her, but you can have your coffee. I'm just going to say that we need to go inward without stress. Stressing about this issue is never going to change it. It's not going to change the fact that you have no work right now. You're in the same boat with everyone. So what do we do about that? Well, the past, 3 years, 3/4 of the readings I've been doing, it comes up in the reading that they should have a store online, doing business online with something simple. And the people that I told that to would look at me and say, oh, well, I have a degree in this, and so I need a job in that. I said, yes, but you can do this while you have your job. And the simple way to do that is to go to Goodwill and Savers and yard sales, and you find all these wonderful things, and you put them online for sale. And you package them and send them out to all the people. It's all about shopping, which we love. So now that you're caught indoors, I'm sure you have a few trinkets in your house you can put online and make your own little business going right away, because it's fun to do as well. So now we're going to do a little bit of magic. I'm going to draw in some universal light and send it with my mind's energy just to you, every single one of you. I've learned to do this by a Tai Chi master many, many years ago. And I'm going to apply it to the science of witchcraft by sending the light directly to you. So I'm going to be silent for a minute. And so be it. Anyone now that would like to have a reading, only one card. Sometimes you can tell someone what they had for breakfast with one card. So let's see how well I do. I just want you to have the best of what I can do for you. I enjoy it, and if I can help you in any way, Melody, I'm going to pull a card for you, and let's see what comes, all right? Melody is an interesting name. Melody, this is a blessing of water and the fairies. Water is the most healing substance and the most powerful substance on earth. I don't know if you've ever read anything about Dr. Emoto, but he did a major study on changing the limbic structure of water and turn it clean and have it healing. I don't know what your issue is with water, but it looks as though what I'm sensing is that you need to pour yourself a glass of water and relax. It's as simple as that. And all the things that you need and want seem to be overseas, over waters, over a pond, over a lake, down the rivers, outdoors. You need to be out of doors. And we can do that as long as we're not in contact with humans. So a few moments every day using water as magic for yourself, cleansing, cleaning, and enjoying your life. And the sound of water is like a music in itself. This is a good tiding for you. It means that this kind of energy is going to heal you and help you connect with love. Love is coming in a most strange way. It's coming from overseas, over water. And we don't know what that means. You know, well, we know that some of those things are going to happen because that's how it works. And imagine, have you ever thought for a moment that love might come overseas or from someone from another country maybe? That's what I'm sensing, is that you're going to meet someone else from another country. And I don't know what kind of love this is. It doesn't have to be a boyfriend, a girlfriend. It might just be companionship. The flow of water brings all that kind of melding of things. So it's melding you with someone else in a really very close spiritual way. So it's coming for you. And we have Heather McPhee. I love that. I don't know if everybody's seen Nanny McPhee, the movie. It's one of my favorites. I think it's really very magical. Of course, I like everything magical. I may use that word a little too much. Sorry. Okay, now, this one is another fairy card. Isn't that interesting? This card is about healing for you. It's about healing your mind and your body. But healing your mind and body seems to go hand in hand. The mind can heal your body. I have a mantra that I say to myself often, every day. My brain is healing my body, because my brain can send chemicals to the areas of concern in my body and change my DNA and change my cells so that I'm healthier and happier. Otherwise, I don't think I'd be sitting here talking to you if I couldn't do that. Because 88 years, and along came with the 88 years is growing older, and with older comes some changes in your system. So I seem to be doing quite well with my healing of mind, healing of spirit. Your spirit is stronger than you think. You have more magic than you can even understand right now. Let's start using magic in a correct way for the good of all. Use magic for yourself and know that it is wonderful that it can work, and let it happen. Don't put a barrier in your mind. Believe in yourself more and believe in magic. Oh my goodness, there's so many people. I hope I can help. Sue Breeder. I don't know how to pronounce that, of course. Sorry, Sue. Let's see what else. Let's try to find a card for you. So, the magic symbol, the pentacle. The pentacle, of course, to us is protection, because it's your head, your arms, your legs, and the circle is the god, the goddess, the Tao, the force. Protection and wisdom comes from the pentacle. However, it also represents money. So no matter how you're worried right now, it looks as though your financial status is going to change for the better. Isn't that wonderful? Money's coming in some form. I'm not sure how. I'm not sure about maybe a new job, but not. It may come in some other way. Project that it comes in a safe and correct way and for the good of all. It's wonderful for you. Oh, Meredith. Meredith. Oh my goodness, that's a nice name too. I don't know the roots of that name either. Well, everyone that's listening and looking would want this card. It's the Wheel of Fortune. Meredith, you got the Wheel of Fortune. I hope you understand what that means. That no matter what's happening to you right now, no matter how difficult it seems, how foreign, how strange, it has a wonderful outcome. Fortune is coming to you, and it doesn't necessarily mean money. It means to be fortunate, to have things work out, to have love, comfort, food, shelter, and health, and money. But it also gives you a worldly, global look at things. Your mind's sight can see the whole globe. It means that you also can help others as well as yourself. You're a natural healer. Jet. Oh, Courtney Schmidt. Schmidt. Is that a German name? No. Yes, it is, isn't it? Well, here we go with something wonderful again. Spirit is coming to you, guidance from the other world. You obviously have a spirit guide that is extremely powerful. I'm not sure that you realize that. I'm hoping that you do. So in the silence that you have, and times when you're meditating and just staring out the window, listen to your mind. Only good thoughts will come into your mind from this guide. This guide is about good fortune. This guide is also about the cleansing of the mind. It brings happiness, happy thoughts, clarifying the balance of emotions in your brain and body. Our emotions can get in the way of all the things we do, or they can lift you to greatness. And this guide can lift you to greatness. Jordan. Oh, I like the last name. Can I have that? Million? Isn't that wonderful? I don't know if that's exactly what that means for you, but it could. Let's see what happens. I don't know if you're interested in stones and jewels. All the crystals that we have on Earth, they're magical, but they really have electrical resonance and healing powers that are actual. Quartz crystal um, carries electricity and can actually cause some damage when it's broken, but it can carry information, literally carry information. And science is working on that we can allow a crystal to actually speak out loud. So that's very interesting to me because we understand that quartz crystal especially, is very important in this world. I think that if you have crystals and they work for you, but you may not understand them, you may not have ever even entered into the idea of crystals, but a plain, ordinary rock or stone will have energy for you. Next time you're out for a little walk, if you see a stone that catches your eye, it means it needs to go home with you. It needs to bring you luck and happiness. And that's what your card represents. Luck and happiness. It can't get better than that. I'm hoping to get feedback from you. You know, this magic and the readings, they don't always happen right away. The things that we talk about, it could take 2 weeks and 3 months. But when it does happen, I hope you remember what was said from the other world, that this is what is going to happen for you. It's wonderful to be able to help you in any way I can, and I hope you understand the meaning of the cards. You may have many other questions, but I'm just allowing Spirit to tell me what you need to hear. And that's different than what you want to hear. Often we want to hear about money. We want to hear about love. We want to hear about healing, all those major things. But some of these answers that have come from these cards are the answers to those things. That's why you need to write down the answers that the cards have given you, so that you can contemplate that and look at them and understand what that psychic reading meant for you. That's important for you. Well, I don't know about you, but I think the weather has kind of gotten me for a while. Sometimes when it changes so rapidly, well, at least at my age, I don't know how many people looking tonight is near my age, but it does have an effect. It has an effect physically, but also mentally. A lot of people get very depressed in the dark. I was born when it was raining, so it doesn't really bother me. The clouds and the rain, I kind of enjoy that. But if the weather is affecting you, it's only affecting you and you're noticing it more because you're silent, because you're not communicating, you're not making a lot of noise. And once you're in that silent state, maybe just before you go to sleep, it's time to assess what your mind can do to change your whole world. And we're given a chance now to isolate ourselves, to use our magic and our meditation and our minds to create a better world for ourselves. And it is about you, it really is. It's so individual. Because you're left to yourself, to your own magic, your own healing. Some people are going to write some books, I know. Some people have already started, some friends of mine, and they'd never had a chance to do that before. The job took up too much time, and it was an hour to work in the morning. We all will use that time well, and I think we can. We began to panic at first and say, my goodness, there's no food on the shelves in the stores. How frightening is that? Well, it's all turning around. The more magic we do to stop this virus, the more it will stop the virus. And also following the rules, staying isolated, staying away 6 feet or more from every person, washing your hands, all those things that they're telling you is a fact. It's physically what you need to do. But what can we do magically? We can close our eyes, get into a meditative state, and simply ask the universe to abolish and end this virus. And I'm sure that we are already achieving that. The witches around the world at least are doing this, all of us. All the different traditions are all working for the same thing and trying to help save the human race, to save the world. We can do it. We've done it before. We've been silently doing it all these thousands of years when people thought we were devil worshippers. And no one knew about Celtic studies. There was no Celtic studies. You know, that was a whole race of people, and that was forgotten. And now, you know, we've gone back and we've studied, and there's a lot of wonderful information out there about our people. All the way, well, from Norway all the way up to Iberia. All of us have a magical sense. Some of us have fairy blood from the pits. And the Tuatha Dé Danann, of course, from Ireland. Oh, did you know that all Brits, they have Egyptian DNA? Yes, we all do. All British people have Egyptian DNA. There was a woman named Scotta, a pharaoh's daughter. She married, I think she married someone in Ireland, and then she married the first chieftain in Scotland, and Scotland's named after her, Scotta. Scotta is extremely powerful. She's in your DNA. If you have any British DNA at all, you also have some Egyptian magic in you. Isn't that amazing? Oh, and by the way, an offside, the bagpipes are Egyptian, by the way. They're not from Scotland. She brought those with her. Gracie Grania, oh my goodness, I can't believe I get to talk to you. Gracie is my niece. I have not seen you in a while. You need to come to Salem and say hello. And I love that you're here with me. And I am going to pull a card. I bet you want one. So let's see what happens. You're so imaginative yourself. You should have been an actress, because that's what you're really good at. But you're also a great businesswoman, so it's a real toss-up, isn't it? And all that property you own, you're wonderful, and I really appreciate you. Ah, and this is hard for you. You're a very active person. Your mind goes 24/7. Physically, you're on the run. You do all kinds of things. This is a card of stillness. And that's what we've been talking about almost this whole evening, is having a quiet time, a quiet moment to look inward, because many years ago, we had some magic happen together. Yes, I remember about the car being locked and then it magically opening for you. You did that. That's how it works. You are a Pisces, therefore you have a lot of, creative energy. I can imagine you writing a book. That would be a thriller, if nothing else. I can imagine you painting if you wanted to. I think you would be good at that. You're good at writing. You could write screenplays. In the stillness, if you take this time to isolate yourself, stay quiet for a little bit. magical things will happen for you. More than you can imagine. Because I'm going to send that energy to you. Love you very much. And Ernest, as a wonderful priest, Ernie, you are, again, here we go, one of the most magical people I know. Heaven sent for me. I think you're reincarnated, or at least a little bit of that DNA is in you, I'm sure. We were just talking about sunflowers. This is a card about planting, growing. It's about the sun. It's about healing. It's about using what is available to manifest. We're talking about a sunflower plant and all the things it can do for people. That one thing is a survival thing that we can do for ourselves. This shows you starting and learning and doing something new. The newness of it brings money because it's from the sun's energy. The sun is a symbol for you. The Eye of Horus would be a wonderful thing for you to make sure that you carry with you now. I happen to have my Eye of Horus ring on tonight. And that brings all the information that you need. You are challenging yourself. You're doubting yourself. You don't need to doubt yourself. I know that's easy for me to say, isn't it? But I know that with this card, it brings all the things you really want. You have to allow it. Allow is a big word, and I say that constantly to people. You have to allow things to happen. You let it go. It's like casting a spell. When we cast a spell, you just see the end result and let it go. And the universe will throw everything in place for it to happen. But you do have to see that end result. And I know you can do this. I'm so happy that this card came out for you. You deserve the best. Always, always. Now we have Alan Ripash. Okay, Alan, I'm going to try to pull a card for you. And this is a goddess card. It's a goddess card of ancestors. It represents your family and the powerful people that you come from. Obviously, they come with their own magic. And it's not about curses, and it's not about anything strange or bad. Whatever this magic is from a goddess. It's healing, comforting, and you need to call upon an ancestor. Possibly you have a picture of someone from your far past, maybe a great-grandfather, great-grandmother, and if you do, you might want to place that picture in a special place. And sit and meditate and call upon that person and see if you can feel and hear and get any information from that person. And oftentimes when we talk to people from the other side, when we talk to people from the other side and we hear an answer, it sounds like our own head, our own voice, and we dismiss it. So while you're doing this now and you hear some kind of answer to a question that you give to this ancestor, write it down. And do that every time you ask a question of this ancestor, write it down. Eventually, you're going to see that it wasn't your thought, that it did come from that person who is alive and well in the other world and can help you. She's calling on you, and I think it is a female relative for you. and a very loving one. She looks as though she's very motherly, and I'm sure that you will recognize who she is. Heather. Heather, you can do your own readings, for heaven's sakes. You've just done a billion readings, just like I'm doing right now. I don't know what's your question. Do you have a question for me? You're like a little imp, you know. Oh my goodness, she's so bright and beautiful. And so creative, energetic, all those things. It's time you used your knowledge of witchcraft. The card happens to be a high priestess using moon energy, but following the path that you've been taught. Witchcraft is a science, much more than it's a religion. Magic is a science. Quantum physics tells us magic is real. It's time for you to actually use it. We can't always count on guides and other people to do the magic for us. We have to do it ourselves. And in a certain way, there are patterns, as you've been taught, of ways to do magic. It's time to do those. Time for you to cast a circle, light a candle, use some herbs, make a potion, and see what happens. High priestess, can you imagine? That's so beautiful. But you deserve the best. You need to understand that more than I do. Tamara James. That's a beautiful name, isn't it? I don't think I've known anyone named Tamara, or I may have and I don't. I'm terrible with names, so if I know you, forgive me. I probably know your face and not your name. But if that's not what I'm good at all. Here we go. Tamara, I don't know how cityfied you are. Are you a city girl? I don't know. I'm not sensing that you are necessarily a farm girl, let's put it that way. But this is about nature, and this is about you being in touch with nature, growing plants, helping animals, creating an earthly type surrounding for yourself, planting trees, planting all kinds of things. Even, if we go and we find a piece of land, even if it isn't our own, we can plant sunflowers and all kinds of things, and strawberries, and actually some food. Sunflowers are food, but you can do more than that and leave them somewhere in an area where plants aren't growing, and that will help someone else. But you can do this. This is about doing it for yourself, creating a more magical, earthly, nature surroundings for yourself. I think I would see a walk in the forest, but you never will go into the forest alone. You're not capable of going alone. So let's not do that. Maybe you think you are, but you're not. And that means you take your cell phone, you get prepared in case you may get lost, and let's not let that happen. Be prepared. It's like being prepared for what has happened to us now. My mother constantly, in the 30s, we were coming out of a recession, so after I was born in the 30s, she would go to the supermarket, and every time she would buy extra food and store it away, so that by the end of the year we had enough food for the next year. Taking care of us in that fashion, and a lot of people today don't do that. It's all rushing to the grocery store or McDonald's or something. this means you need to be prepared again for more. We have to prepare ourselves for more than this virus. We need to prepare ourselves. I neutralize this as I say it, but possibly famine, or possibly all kinds of things are happening for us because of our misuse of Mother Earth. We have no ozone layer, as you know. Our water is polluted, our air is polluted everywhere. There's no clean air on Earth. It's time for each person to do something, and it seems by that card to me that you can do quite a bit. I'm not sure if you have animals. I thought I saw a dog and a cat, so I don't know who they belong to. I think they may be yours. If not, it probably means you need to help them somehow, because that's part of nature too, especially animals in all the encroaching we have into animal space, so they're coming in. Deer have walked right into the supermarkets. Isn't that interesting? Everybody thinks it's fun, but it's frightening because they're not finding enough food in a wooded area where they live. So they're coming into civilization crying for help. And no one is doing very much about that. And you are a person who can do something about it. Deb, Brian, Debbie. Does everybody call you Debbie or Deb? I guess it's Deb, because you didn't write Deborah. So let's see if there's anything I can sense for you. This is like a Gemini card. It's duality. You have two people in you somehow. You may not be a Gemini, but you have a difficult time making up your mind. Now you have all the time in the world to try to do that. It's not trying, it's doing. Make up your mind. Decide now what you really want to be in life. First of all, you want to be healthy, right? Let's make a list. You want to have money. You want to have a roof over your head. And you want some love in your life. Well, all those things are available to you. But you must decide that that's exactly what you want. If I were you, I'd learn quickly how to cast a spell and list all the things that you want. There's a way of doing a spell that we call the wish list. On every third full moon, you start at the next full moon and you wait for 2 more full moons, and you write a wish list with a pen and paper. And the wish list just says, I want this, I want that, I'm going to do this, I want to write a book, I want to have a book published. And you put it in a drawer somewhere and leave it and let it go. And I did that sometime way back in the late 70s. And on the list, I wanted a Rolex watch, because I wanted something material. Nothing wrong with that. I wanted to have my book published, my first book. And I wanted to be able to go to England, blah, blah, and a whole list. Well, my book got published. I ended up being called by someone in England who wanted me to come there and do some psychic work for them, for him and his wife and family. He paid my way there. I stayed at their manor house out in the Midlands in England, which is so beautiful. They had a chef, they had an indoor pool. It was a huge manor house called Radbrook Manor. And I got to stay there for 3 months with that family. It couldn't have been anything more beautiful. out of the blue. I could have never imagined a way for that to happen to me. But my wish list made it happen because I allowed it to go. I wrote the list and said, let the universe make it happen. Well, it happened. Now, after I came home after the 3 months, something came in the mail, and it was a gift from that family, and it was a Rolex watch. So my entire list got answered. It took 2 years before that happened, but it all happened. Let's write a moon list, okay? I don't know, when's the next full moon? Didn't we just have one? People, I'm out of whack here. When is the moon? Do we know? Someone? You know, I have all the skilled staff with me here. We have these technical witches, and these men are high-tech as well as magical. And I mean high magic. So I have to rely on them for everything. And I'm so lucky to have them. Imagine being a high-tech witch. Oof. I mean, I can barely text on my phone. I'm just getting good at it. And Pinterest has my interest constantly. That's all I do is watch Pinterest and want everything I see. It's like shopping to me. Oh, I wish I could buy the stuff I see on there. My house would be loaded from right up to the ceiling. I don't know about the moon.
I'm checking.
We're checking. And this is Friday, and there is a specific color for the day, but it's also, Friday's the day of Venus, so if you're wearing green, it's a good thing. Or you can, you can do something now. You can light a green candle to draw in energy, and it's not always about love. Venus is about a comforting home, which we all need right now. We need a secure home. We need the rent paid. Okay, and the full moon's coming on April 7th in Libra. And Librans can't make up their minds. But that's all right, we can. Well, maybe we can help some Librans make up their mind. But that full moon is coming, so that would be your first full moon. You have to wait for 2 more, and then you write your wish list and hide it away from yourself. And let the universe take over. And you will be so surprised what the universal mind can give to you. Things that you would never have believed could happen. And that is what magic is about. It's about science. It's about light, energy, and projection. Our brain can project light like a laser to specific directions. And we can send information with that light, actually. That's why we can put up a protection shield around ourselves. And that's why we don't have to do harmful magic, because we have that protection shield. It's wonderful to do that. And maybe on one of our talks, one of these days, I'll help you learn how to put up a shield. It's exciting, because once it's up and things start happening that normally might have harmed you, you're going to watch them fade away and disintegrate and neutralize by your own protection shield. It's just fabulous. I wish the whole world would learn this. It doesn't matter if you're a witch or not. You need to know your magical science. Everybody's magical, and we don't need war. We don't need to harm anyone or anything. It's possible not to do that by our magic skills with our brain and our energy. There's nothing wrong with us doing that. It's just I don't understand how we can't get this type of education to everyone, which is what I've always wanted to be able to do. I wanted to kind of help the world by teaching you the science of witchcraft, because we all can do this and we can save the world. And by witchcraft being a science, that science can apply to anyone. I don't care what you call yourself. You don't have to do harmful thoughts, harmful magic, or actions to have your way and to have things work for you or to protect yourself. Mm-mm. You have to do almost the opposite, really, when you think about it. You have to do things that are correct and good for all, and it works. Or I would be sitting here, believe me. I've had a lot of narrow escapes, and it's very evident that I have a shield. My goodness, and it's so wonderful to be in your house. How does it feel to have a witch in your house, huh? My goodness, isn't this lovely? I'm so thrilled to be able to talk to you and talk about just anything you wish to talk about. You can ask me questions if you want to. I don't know, I don't have all the answers, but I always try to. I sometimes think I do, but I don't. But I will try to help you in any way I can. That's why I'm here. That's my job. My job is to help people understand their qualities, their abilities, to understand the goodness of their life, and to create goodness in their own lives. And you need to come first, right now. Everyone I'm talking to and everybody in the world right now needs to be first. Yes, you can help your neighbor, you can help relatives, but you need to be number one right now and take good care of yourself. It's so important that you do that just for you. You need that cup of tea for healing mind, body, and spirit. That's possible too. I hope that I can help you, guide you in some way with what I do know. I try to share what I do know, and it's not everything. But what I've learned from masters. Learned an awful lot from Merlin. I know everybody's gonna laugh. What do you mean, Merlin? How is that possible? Well, it is possible because everyone who passes, every living person who passes into the other world is still alive, and alive in another realm, another world. And the minute we pass, no matter how bad we were in this life, the minute we get into that other world, we're at a higher intelligence. Therefore, we look back and go, can't believe I did that in that lifetime. That was awful. What am I going to do? And they usually try to come back and help. Most ghosts can only come back maybe once or twice in your lifetime for you. When you see those shows on television about ghosts and there's dark smoke going and door slams and there's somebody speaking into some machine and and someone in the neighborhood gets scratched or whatever. Well, that is not from the other world. Those are not ghosts. Duke University found that out way back in the 30s, or maybe even earlier, that's a live and living person who has a disturbance in their brain, and they can cause that kind of damage and poltergeist for a mile radius around where they. So it comes from one of us. From the other world, it's just the opposite. Once you're in the other world, there's no ghost gonna come and do any. They don't do harm. They come to help when they can. So if a ghost comes to you, believe me, it has nothing to do with harm. You're just scaring yourself. All that misinformation you have about all of these things. Anyway, I think I'm going to save meditations for another night. I need to have that kind of space with you. I just want to be familiar with you and understand you a little more. I need to do my own psychic research here to understand all of the people that are focused right now on what we're talking about, because that's what I'm here for, is to relate and be with you individually. And I can do that. I'm very good at that. Magically, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Because I'm there to love you, help you. I want to do that for you if I can. Through this amazing way. Through my goodness. And this is a computer. The brain's a computer, really, when you think about it. And we're using all that technology and then our own abilities to communicate, change the world, make everything better for all of us. I'm very excited about this. I'm going to call it an evening now. I'm going to rest, and I'll be with you again very soon. I think tomorrow night I am able to come and visit with you again. And maybe we can learn, well, maybe we'll do a meditation. And maybe, why don't we do a protection shield? Because maybe some of you may have never done that. I never learned how, and I will show you how we do it. There's many ways to do it, but there's a science to this. And I want you to have a permanent shield. So nothing can harm you, only you can harm yourself, but no one else can. And I love you all very much, or I wouldn't be sitting here. I just couldn't do it without you anyway. I know of your interests, I know of your need, and I know that you have magic. And I want you to be able to use it for yourself and for the world. It's so important. I need to say goodnight now.
Thank you to Enchanted of Salem for hosting us.
What is it?
Thank you to Enchanted of Salem for hosting us.
Yes, oh, thank you to Enchanted at Salem for hosting this. It's wonderful. And I'm going to just say a little poem that I used to say on the radio way back in the 70s. Every ending is a beginning, and for witches this is law. Where you enter in, from there you must withdraw.